Hello, hello. It's me, Desiree. Oh, I gotta turn that down. I hope everyone is having a great day. Hope you had a great week. All right. I feel like creating a journal. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to start by making our own cover. I have these paper bags that my sister just keeps giving me. So they are stacking up. And good morning, Cordelia. How are you? So I dug into them yesterday for a project in our membership group. And for those of you there, it will be coming out soon. It's going to be a lengthy one. It's going to have multiple parts. Good morning, Gwen. How are you? And it's if you're there, it's a hysterical video. Because did something completely wrong and didn't have to redo it because we don't start over. We just keep going forward. So yeah. So what the video is, we create the book for our lap book. Yes, Gwen, I blamed you all throughout the video. So we created the base for it, and I used the bag to cover our chipboard. This is the first time that I'm going to be making one of these. I've never made a lap book before, so it is sure, absolutely sure to be entertaining, if nothing else. Yeah, saying. So after I dug into those, yeah, I need to do these. Lisa, good morning. How are you? So I figured I'm going to use up more of these. And what I'm going to do first is just create a scattered, somewhat, a different style of a masterboard using this. And this time, when you watch, if you're able to watch that video in the membership, I'm going to make sure I'm on the right side of this paper. So I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, that ridiculous. The other thing that I want to make sure I have, I've got all kinds of stuff all over and around me. I want to make sure I have that. And I don't think I do have something round. Okay. Let me grab my glue. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add papers, torn papers. Lots of vintage photos going to go on this. And the base, after we make this cover, I'm in the mood to make a quick journal. Good morning, Anthony. Is I'm going to use the hundreds of sometimes we just don't think when we say, yes, I'll take that. We don't think. So somebody had ordered the wrong color of file folders. Yes, file folders. And now I just have a complete abundance of them. But they're cool because first of all, they're black. So I do use them for other things. But we're going to use this as our base for the cover. It's just going to be a single signature. I don't know how far we'll get, but we'll see. We'll see where we go. Oh, so you did get your stamps, Lisa. Wonderful. Yes, one of my orders I think was, I don't know if somebody was trying to figure out what was in the package, but oh my. It's, yeah. And no, Gwen, it's not going to be a 1 year project. No, the lamp book is, it's just going to have multiple videos, and they're probably going to be extremely long. Because again, I've never made a lap book. So it is all trial and error as we're going through this. So again, great entertainment. Nothing, if nothing else. Um, and I'm gonna start it in May for the cover, and then the rest of them are gonna continue throughout June. So by the end of June, I should have that done. Um, for that. Um, oh, good, Lisa. I'm glad you're enjoying the mental health challenge we're doing in the membership. Okay. All right, let's get started. So as I said, this is the paper bags that I have an abundance of. So I broke into them. I'm not worried about that it's wrinkled, it's crinkled. I think that just adds something to it. I dug into some of my paper collections. This here, and it's from 2015. And there must have been a sale because I have two of them. But they're great papers. They are great background papers. I mean, you can have some of the ephemera that cuts out, but it's all stamps and collage type papers, maps, ledgers. Um, it's just a really fun. I mean, not that I would use all of these papers because there's always papers, that we're not going to like. But it's a lot of fun when it comes to some of the textures that they've put on, and I was looking for that for this. I did grab also a Tin Holt pack, 8x8 papers. This is Wallflower. They did a release from the vault. This was last year, so yeah, had to have that. And then this is an old Recollections tablet or paper pack. This is from 2016. It's amazing what you find when you clean. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let's see. All right. So let's get started. Let's start ripping and tearing and seeing what we come out with. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like because this will get cut down. But I want to just mix and match of things because I do want this to show through as well, if that makes sense. So let's get started. I've got my inks, of course, my vintage photo, and of course this is like long, so we'll see bits and pieces of it coming in, and I am going to ink each of these edges as well. Usually sometimes I don't. And when I mean that I'm just going to keep that uncovered. And when I mean that this is going to be a broken up masterboard, we're not going to cover the full sheet with papers. We're going to put hints here and there, like we would a stencil or something like that. I'm going to put that there, though. Things could come crashing down at any moment. Never fear, we'll be okay. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And I want to try not to have too many scraps. I know, you heard that right. So how has everyone been doing? We are just about to start a mini heat wave here. Right, Anthony? It's just amazing. Now, the good thing, even though when I went through and redid this room, you know, cleaned it up, got different furnitures and everything in here. What I find that I do now is I do, you know, go through everything again. I do clean out and look at what's in here. And I think that helps me to say, hey, I have that. Let's use it. So it's a good thing. Let's look at these maps. Something bright. A little bit of color going on here. Oh, I like that one. I am going to make sure I hit the 4 corners. But I'm not going to ink the 4 corners. Last week, I finished my in-person class for Zen Tangle. Had an absolute ball. Had a wonderful time with those ladies. We could not stop laughing. And they seemed to enjoy it, and it was great. I had a young girl in there, and it was so cute because her dad would sit in the back and just keep an eye on her. But it was a lot of fun. Lots of fun. So at least I got that done. Now, I'm going to let everybody know now, I believe. Oh, no. We will be live next Sunday, but getting you ready. Really get ready. There is a weekend coming up where I won't be. Coming up soon. All right, this one's fun. Let's bring out some fun scissors. Because I think so we don't always have to tear. If you've got those really interesting scissors, use them. I still use mine. In fact, I think I'm gonna go across that. Okay. Put that up there. I did get, so all the filming is done for the mental health except for the watercolor panels. I'm going to film those a different way. So that's what's left on those. There was something else I got done besides the cover for the lap book. Which way do I want this? We'll put that like that. So again, we're just going to be scattered throughout this, but I also want to keep it down. I don't want to have anything too bright, but even if it's too bright, you can tone it down. And I'll show you that. And again, with a master board, we start out, or I do, I start out with large pieces, and then I'll come in with small ones. And you can use anything as your base. There's a couple magazines that I get, and I use that as a base. So here, this is, you can see that's very sore. But if we take this and we can ink it up, if you go to like your dollar store, something like that, or maybe even a Five Below, if you have one of those, get a makeup brush, a cheap one, and you want a type of brush. You don't want one of our inking brushes like this. You want something that's, for like powder or something like that. What is in there? And then I just go into my ink with this, and I will brush on top of it. And I'll just keep adding the ink. And what's nice is you really don't get those spots like you would with this. I'm not quite sure why. There's a science. I wasn't good in science. My teacher said, yeah, we just need to get you out of here. So you can see the difference. This was white or like a pale gray. And then just by going over that we toned it down, and now it can go, it kind of now forms with what's going on here. So you just want that type, you know, of a brush, a fluffy powder brush, and you'll get that effect. Holly, good morning. Oh, you're not late. No one's ever late. So we're just doing, Holly, a broken style, a different style of masterboard, and it's going to be a cover. We're going to see how far we get with a journal. I felt like making a journal. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because of the fiasco we were having when I filmed for one of the membership levels of the lap book. I don't know. But definitely good fun. I've been so working on this project, and then I'm putting together another project for here for you guys. With simplicity and just using pattern paper. So definitely stay tuned for that. We're going to do a different spin on the pattern paper. Okay, I think I want something right here. That works. All right, and we'll put that there. So that's all the large pieces that I'm gonna put down. Kalinda, good morning. We're gonna see what this journal comes out to be. And again, it's gonna get cut. Sometimes when I do that and I show that on the film, the comments. You know, the comments are like right up there with somebody using a book and giving it new wonderful life. For that, let's put some glue under that. That might give me a problem. All right, so if you remember, we also made these. And I want to keep doing that because these, it's almost like this is a cluster. That's what I'm kind of turning that into, or this into. So I grabbed my tickets again and my ads. These are the adverts, and this is the ticket booth. So I grabbed those because why not? If we got it, let's use it. And then these are going to, you know, sit in here. As well. And that's going to be our pops of color. So usually when I do these, when we make our own ephemera, I choose like light colored cardstock. Because again, we're going to douse it. It's a fun douse. A vintage photo. I'm going to grab a couple of my other ones. So let's just stamp some of these out. I'm going to use my archival ink black. So I have a pale blue. I don't think I want a green. This one might be fun. And I'm just choosing them randomly. But again, we're going to do the whole odd number thing. Yeah, let's do one more. I am trying to choose colors that are already sitting in our papers. I'm getting ink all over my hands. Imagine that. And let's do some tickets. Oh, why not? Let's put a purple in there. And a pink. Me and my husband last night, we went to, he had a function somewhere. I don't know. He just tells me. And I'm like, okay. That's horrible. I know. Absolutely horrible. But that's just me. And really nice bunch. And it was a celebration. One of his friend's children graduated. And he's autistic. And I lost my scissors. Found them. How could I lose these scissors? Seriously. And he likes like art and stuff like that. So I made him a card and I Zen tangled it on one of those many watercolor backgrounds that I hold because you can't get rid of them. Why would we want to? And he happened to own it, or open it, and his face was funny. He kind of wasn't sure what it was. And the other women that were there were very interested. So I kind of took over the party just a little bit. And we got to talk all about Zentangle, which you guys know me. I'm all for that. I'm just going to use my scissors and just create these edges on some. And then I might have an opportunity to teach at a winery. That's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. So we're working out the details. It'll be interesting to see how the tangles go by the end of the class. Now, if you don't have these scissors, don't stress it. You don't need, the fancy scissors. You could just use your regular scissors and just tear them. That works just as well and gives a great effect for these pieces. I don't think you have to go out and buy anything. You do not. Our hands are our best tools. There we go. Okay. These scraps, no, I do not keep these scraps. All right, now let's lay these down. So this to me is like a medium size when it comes to a masterboard, because I always, I have a process. Again, we all create differently. So I start large and then I go down to medium. And then I think the small will create maybe some stamps. Or I may just stamp directly on. I think that's what I'm going to do. So you can see these soft colors, they change as I get the vintage photo around them. And I'm just sloppily going around so that it even gets up onto the top of it. You could use the brush if you want to really tone back the colors. Like that. And now I got ink all over there. Clean off my fingers here. There we go. I'm moving a pad of paper. That's how I craft. I just throw things. All right, now what I want to do before I get these down, and I know I got that one down, but that's okay, is I'm going to pull in some background stamps. So I have this one. It's called the French Marketplace. And I think we're just going to have fun with all of these. And I want, and for these, I'm not going to put them on a block, except that one. Because I don't want the solid effect. I just want to give the hint of it. And this one, I'm actually going to use the bottom. And I apologize if this all isn't in view. It's a big piece. This one will do a lot because it's just the signature. And always turn your stamps. Don't think that you have to always have them upright. They can be crooked, wonky. Just have fun with it. Guess I should move the stamp pad so that I can get in there. Okay. And then, oh my. And then this one, we're just going to go to town. So you don't need all the stamps too. You could just have a few of them. Because as you turn it, it's going to look different. And you can see how it's just filling up on your page. And basically, we're creating our own pattern paper. In this case, a cover. All right, now let's get our pieces down. And I want them to come out of it. So I'm going to grab a knife. And I'm going to cut around that. Could break through. And if I have to, we'll tear it. So they're going to sit like that, because then that'll give it dimension as well. Because I do want them to stick up. I'm okay if they get distressed, if they get torn and all of that stuff. So I just make sure that they're somewhat caught in there. And then I'm just putting a little glue in the back and then a little glue on the front. Because I'm not turning those into pockets. That's too dark. Just be careful with your knife. And really, I was saying that to myself because see how my hand's like right over it? Just saying. Just saying. Let's look at the guy. Sean, good morning. How are you? I think they're going to be awesome at at the winery. When I heard that, I'm like, really? All right. Yeah, we can do this. All right, let's put one here. That I actually want to go. No, we're gonna put it here. I'm gonna put one down here. I'll actually put it along that. And then I'm gonna put one right up in here underneath. So I'm gonna put that one there. And where did I? Right there. We'll put that one there. Just remember where you put your slits. All right. Get that one down. Get this one down. Now I chose to do them this way. Wait, how many I got here? Yeah. Because this one was already down, so I was able to stamp over that. I chose not to put these down. So because that, we can tuck them, put them into, different places. I mean, why not? Well, let's get these two in here too. Why not? Let's go over here for this one. And then let's go here for that one. My cat's into something. I can hear him. And that's not a good thing. And we'll tack that one. All right. So that, we're not done yet. Don't think we're done. We're not. Because you all know what's coming next. Well, next to next. So now I want to grab, just going to set this off to the side here. I'm going to use this cap. And I wonder if I can do it on this block. Let's see. So we're going to put our vintage photo down. I don't think that's going to work. It's all right. Oh, that works just fine. So we're just going to... I don't need that. I like that. So take a block, take your ink pad, get the ink on there. It doesn't look like it's on there, but it is. And just drop her down. And then you can pick up the other ones. Now, what's cool is with the having way too much fun with this now. You can also use a piece of acetate for this if you wanted to. Block, though, I'm definitely having more control on it. And then I can pick up from other areas. I just want to make sure that, okay. Well, that was fun. Now you all know what's coming in next. Just need to make room. All right. Got my white acrylic paint. Just slap it down. Yes, Holly. Yes. And I didn't know it was going to do that. Who knew? What I was going to do is use this ring, you know, create a puddle and create coffee rings. But I like that better. I like that better. So you don't need a stamp for the coffee rings. And I know I have them. But you really don't need them. What really works best is if you save a toilet paper roll or a paper towel roll, and you can just cut it down because it starts soaking up the water and the ink, And it really starts giving some interesting impressions. Let me get this back on my glue bottle. All right, so I'm going to put some acrylic paint in here. Acrylic paint in here. And I'm going to put some water. And you want this like the consistency of a heavy cream. I find lately that I like using a fan brush for this. All right, here we go. It just gives more coverage. Now, it does go further out to your desk as well. I like it when the vintage photo is still wet because it's funny. It's soaked into the paper bag, but when it's on top of the pattern paper, it kind of sits there. And then we'll just let it drip. Because we got to have big drips. I don't care that they're white. Okay. Now, I don't have... I'll be right back. Hang on. All right. I didn't have a jar of water. I needed my pot of water. There we go. So it'll mix where the vintage photo is still sitting there. You could also add water to this. There's nothing wrong, and I like the effect of splattering water. Especially over reactive inks, because it will react with them, of course. And alcohol cleans up all of our splatters from all over the place. So we'll give that a good clean at some point. Water will make it also shift and move. And then water will also add the wrinkles into it as well. It can be clean water, it can be dirty water, doesn't matter. Again, just coming in with the water, because it'll create an effect, like it moved that. So water is definitely a magical thing. Would I spray this? No, I don't want it to spray. That's going to do something else, a different type of effect. There you go. So that's, again, a different way of creating a master board. When it comes to, keeping the open space. Again, it's already got color on the back of it. So you can just add these pieces that come in. Now, how this will look once we cut it, I don't know. And that's the beauty of a masterboard for me, guys. You don't know what you're going to get. Now with all that water, I can sit here and tap it. And now I got drips. Which now I love even more. Yes! Now I gotta clean that. Never have enough rags. All right. And again, I'll look at it to say, okay, you know what? I really like this side. I know that's going to be the back. This is going to be the front. And I think that's the way that I'm going to go. I'm going to focus in on this side when it comes to the cover, because this is going to get glued onto the top. Yeah, it's going to get glued onto the top. I'm debating whether or not I want to sew it, but I just don't have my sewing machine in here. That sits in another room. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. And we'll see if that dries up while we figure out what our size of our journal will be. Again, this is going to be, we're going to make the cover out of this. So if I take it normally, fold it in half, 5.5, da, 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 so that would go 6, so 12. 12 would take me here, 6 would fold right there. That would actually work. All right, so let's make it 6 inches wide. I'm going to use that fold. So I'll put the fold up on 6, go straight up. I am going to save these pieces because we can use these as borders on our pages that we put in. And now we have 2 tabs created. We could four and a quarter. I cut better if I push up. All right, we're going to make a tall and skinny journal. I haven't made one of those in a while. And we're just going to use all kinds of papers. Let me check the comments because I haven't been watching. I'm so sorry. Okay, no, Holly. This is. Sorry, I just saw your question with a lot of question marks. Okay, no. So, the lap book that I showed, that's for one of the membership levels because, and I'm blaming Gwen. Gwen came up with this, awesome idea. Des, make a lap book. Okay, and I've never made one. Never made a lap book. So, of course, watching and watching and, doing all that fun stuff that we do when we watch. And I am going to take this. So I started that with the cover. And it's an extremely entertaining video because of the happy accident that I did. I'm going to measure this. And then yes! Yeah. It was just... It was a fun, happy accident. But, yeah, I couldn't believe I did it. If I fold that in half, what does that give me? Gives me 5. All right, we're going to continue to use these folders. They're going to be part of our signature. So it is something that I'm starting in the membership. And no, it is not going to take me a year to do. Although I was thinking it, but no. No. By the end of June, we should have it completed. So I just did the cover. All right, so that's going to be one of our signatures in here. I just need to cut it down. And then we'll have these little tabs that stick out. So this here measures, I want this to be 11. I always like my pages that go inside. I always like them to be just a little shorter than the top and the bottom. Let's see what this one looks like. I would hate to not use it. I'm not worried about the ripples or the score lines in the folder. This is definitely thinner. But will create interest. So we're going to do that. And we'll just have the one that sticks out. Yeah. So the cover itself was cut 11¼ inches tall. And the inside pages will be 11 inches tall because we can just take a regular piece of paper and fold it in half. And this is going to be like what I like to call a Mod Podge style. Journal. Meaning we're just going to pull from our scraps. So we'll have that piece that sticks out there. Because we know we've got to add charms. How are we doing on this drying here? Oh, still needs dry. Let's see. I'm going to find some full sheets of paper. Not like that. Nope. I can't find full sheet. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking through all of my digital scraps. Yes. And I have the funny feeling you guys are going to, where'd you get those? I don't know. I think these newspapers are from My Porch Prints. And I'm going to put some of it, like the birds. I'm really starting to like, too, the digitals, because they're starting to provide not only the horizontal papers, but they're also providing the vertical papers in their kits. And I think that is really awesomely cool. Very, very cool for times like this. And a journal's never complete with that. That's not it. Oh my goodness. What was that? Okay. As I was saying, no journal is ever complete without some coffee dyed papers. All right. So I've also chosen some that have a white background, and you'll see what we can do with those. And these I'm just going to get folded in half. Where are we at? Okay, it's only been an hour. Not too bad. Now, even though these are vertical or horizontal, sorry, we can still use them. And these were just printed on regular standard 20-pound copy paper. Now I'm wondering if, that's not the one I want, if we can tear these. That would be awesome if we could. Nope. Not gonna fight with that. So, cutting it is. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use my scissors for the sides. It'll be different. It'll be wonky. And it'll be fun. Okay. So we got one. And since this is thin copy paper, I can put a few more pages. Usually if I'm doing a single signature, which is what this is going to be, it's usually 13. And I've already got 2 because of the file folders. And let's see, I've got 4 of those. We'll hold off the other 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I really like the birds. I'm going to get the birds in here. Cut this side. I never print side to side on my printer. 11. And these I can just fold in half. And the reason why I don't print from the full page is because I may want to tear the pages. I may want to do something else with the pages. And then I've got that border, so it gives me that leeway to do that. I know that's my center. So I'm kind of building each of these as if they were 2 signatures. reverse that one. And we'll reverse that one. It's my center. How does this look? And we'll put that in there as well. Or do I want to add another piece here? All right, that is going to be our signature. So now this will sit in here, and then we'll have that tab that'll stick out. Yeah. Okay. So now, not going to take a whole year. Back to the comments. Oh my goodness, I'm horrible. We did that. Lisa, oh no, I overthink things. No, I'm with you on that. All right, so here's our cover. All right, so I'm going to take a rag, and okay, it's dry. So if you see our journal, it's just gonna fit. And that's okay. But before I sew this signature in, I want to get this on here. And I think I'm going to do something completely different. All right, so this measures 9.5 by 11.25. I don't worry about the top. So I want to cut this to be 9.25. I know I said 9.5, but I want it to be 9.25. Okay. Guys, I need a lot of fingers crossed here. I don't know if this is going to work, but I have an idea. Well, Gwen, yeah, lap book. My goodness. And of course, mine is going to be inspired by Nick this Booksmith. And there's two other people. I'm hoping I wrote them down. And basically it was the book construction, because I had never put one of these together. What do I add to my coffee mixtures to preserve it when dyeing papers? I don't put anything. I just use the coffee and I make sure they are completely dry. If they are not completely dry, they will go green. Ask me how I know. Just saying. Let's see. Oh, wonderful. Have an awesome graduation, Kalinda. Yay. No, this is not going to be one of 3 signatures. This is going to be a single signature journal. No, I never have either. And I know you should, they say you should put a pH in there, and all of that. I've just never done it. I have never done it. All right, we're going to try this one way. Just say. And what I need to do is I need to get an edge. And this is not what I want for the edge. I'm hoping this works. Where are they? Here we go. So I'm going to go around with my deckled edge scissors all the way around this. Because the piece that we don't use that's going to be filler into, okay, what didn't dry here? I know this is dry. It's going to be filler for other areas. Come on. You gotta be kidding me. This is what happens when we get just a little frustrated. Please tell me that's the right size. It's going to be close, but you know what? We're going to go with it. Yep, pulling in the big guns. There we go. All right. I'll push that down. Put that right there. The camera will shake. I apologize. Now, the only good thing is it's a paperback. And now this one, sure, the sides work. There we go. Oh, hello, guys. How y'all doing? I'm going to tack these down. Just because So here's our cover. Yes, it is smaller, and that's okay, because I believe so. I took the measurement. This is 4.5 inches wide. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it at 4.25. And then I'm going to take this and fold this Could I have scored it? Sure. But that would mean that, I thought about the process. And that's just not my way. Now this is folded at 4.5. And then now that we've got that at 4.5, we're going to come over. And this is going to be 4.25. No, I needed this one at 4.5. Remember, it's a master board. We can just have all kinds of fun with this. And then off of that one, I need 4.25. Did this work? Oh, it worked. I love it when something works. All right. So this is all going to be sewn together. Just like that. Just like that. Here's my signature. All right, let's get the signature together. We'll shift that one up a little bit. We'll shift that one up a little bit. We're going to put this together. We're going to put that right there. I need clip. All right, let's sew it together. All right, we're going to open this up. I'm going to find the center. We're going to scooch those up. And I got to make sure that I have the cover clipped as well and held down, because the cover is now actually becoming part of the signature. I don't know if that makes sense, because it did, honestly, it didn't make sense to me. And you can also see why my covers are just that quarter of an inch or half an inch taller, because then I've got the freedom for these papers to go all over. All right, we're just going to do a simple 3-hole pamphlet. Not the one I wanted. I'm going to measure 3 times the height. No, I do not. I do not put any other type of mixture. It's just leftover coffee that I've brewed. I'm going to have the the tie on the outside. I pinch down, and we're going to see if this works. Yeah. All right. So I want the tassels coming from the top. Yes. So I'm going to come up to the top. Make sure I've got the tail there. And I go all the way down to the bottom. I pinch this close a little bit, because it seems all the papers line back up. I come back out. I pinch this down. I'm going to go into the center. I tighten it up. I'm going to wrap around this like that. And then I'm going to come through this loop. And what that does is it just going to give me a little something there to wrap around at that spot. And then I just tighten it down. So it's like a, I don't know what it's called, but it just gives something there. And then I'm going to come back out this top. Snap it down a little bit. And I'm going to tighten both of these up. Play the banjo. That one's way loose. So the one without the needle is the one that I want to pull. Yep. And then I'm going to tie my knot out here. And I'm going to do a triple knot. I usually only do a double. And now I've got my tassels out there. And hopefully this worked. So here is the birds are upside down. But you know what? It's all right. Signature was put in upside down. Yes! Yeah, signature was put in upside down. Nope. Sorry, guys. That one I can't let go. I cannot let go when all the signatures are upside down. Oh, this has been my weekend of awesomeness. I'm telling you. Oh, we're going to start over. Okay. So now, when you have to start over like this, you've already got the holes in your journal. So what I do is I take my awl and I wiggle. So there's the hole. Now I'm going to flip this and I'm going to come through the center again. Where are the birds? Okay. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Let's get our string. This is crafting at its finest, people. If the papers were different, I wouldn't care. But the birds being upside down, that was something where I'm like, okay, no big deal. But then there were other things that I had specifically set and they were upside down. So yeah, we can't have that. All right. So I take my needle and I'm going to wiggle through the papers to find that center again. And I want to hold it. So as long as you keep wiggling back and forth, you'll get through. And then now I'm going to find my cover, and there's my center. There. All right. So now that I've got that held, I'm going to come back in with my clicks. And again, I just wiggle it back and forth to get that set. Oh, no, the holes are all off. And we're just going to recreate the holes. That's all. That's all we're going to do. We're going to get all of this lined back up. That's the way that it should sit. Yep. Where are the birds? Always check your signatures before you sew them. But again, it doesn't mean that you throw everything away. It's a journal. It's an absolute journal. We're using scraps. We're using file folders that were literally going to go into the trash because they were the wrong color when they were purchased by a company. Now I'm going to go through the same holes that I have here, and we're just going to recreate them. It's not going to lessen anything that you've done because you're going through the same holes that you created here. You're just recreating them on the back. And that's all fine. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. This is our top. I just got to find the right hole. All right, we're going to leave our tail. We're going to go down to the bottom again. I'm going to pinch it so that when I go through the hole, it's a smoother go. We're going to tighten that. I'm going to come back up through the center. There was the original one right there. But remember, it's just through this cover. And again, we created a masterboard on that one. So again, I'm coming back up through the center. And what I do is I come underneath it. Here's the loop. I go through the loop and I pull up. And what it's basically done is it's going to, I forget what this is called actually. It just creates this little, it's like a hitch or something like that. And because I'm using wax thread, it just holds on to it there. And I just tighten it up. And then I come back up through the top. All right. And then we make sure everything's tight. Again, play the banjo. This one's always going to be a little looser, so you're going to pull the one that didn't have the needle on, and then that tightens up. And then we're going to pull this one. There we go. And then I'm going to do my triple knot again. Let's see if I did this one right. So the only thing that was wasted in this was the wax thread, and that's okay. So now the cover actually became this and this. We're going to cover these up. All right. Or you can take it and we can wrap it around. So we can do that. And now we've got the wraparound cover and we've taken care of the front. So let's do that. So you think as I come up with these ideas as you go. Now this one here, we've got to change. I need to take this strip off. And then we'll wrap this around. And then we will cut this on this fold. All right, so fingers crossed my scissors work that I can't find. Are you guys seeing them? Found them? So that'll get glued down and that'll get glued down. This will be an awesome scrap for this piece because I can cut it in half. Or We now have a pocket here. I'm trying to find the other side here. And we can have actually a pocket on here because it's curved there. Now I can also do this. There we go. And now we got a pocket here. All right. So we used the entire master board. Not what I originally thought, but we still used it. Now, I think what I'm actually going to do, I got to turn just a little bit, is I think I am going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew right down here, just on this side, along that edge. And I'll do that off camera. And then same thing here. I'm just going to do this edge. And I actually want to cut this more, because I would really rather not glue it down. There we go. There we go. So that's what I'll do off camera. I'm going to make sure that I'm just going to sew. And that's what's going to hold it. I'm not going to glue. Because I don't want, I'm afraid if I glue it, that it's going to get very warpy. And I don't want it to get warpy. It's a technical term. And I'm also okay if this sticks out a little bit. Paper clips, friend. Yes. And then the same thing with this side. We're just going to allow that wiggle room. Yeah. And then if nothing else, you got big pockets in the front. Okay, so that's kind of cool. What do you think? Different way. Different way. Now, again, you can... I forgot what I was going to say. We'll move on. All right, now let's create some stuff. Now, you've got tall, skinny pockets. And basically what I want to focus on are the centers that we have in here, these thick cardboard. So these could even move into these just to give them some cohesiveness. Because again, this went on the black. what do you call it? The black file folder. So in this one here, because of the way that it's torn, will go there. All right. I saw somebody, I think it was Gwen, that suggested a belly band. I find doing belly bands in here, I mean, this would be a perfect belly band. They're really tall. I mean, you've got this really tall space. So what you could do is we can put this here, but then also put a glue spot in the center. When they're that big, things just seem to fall out faster and easier. So I'm just going to choose a center. Or you could divide it up into 3 sections, you know, whatever it is you would want to do. There we go. And even though it's skinny, I mean, it doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that it's flat. But what we can do is we're going to let that dry because we're going to have fun with that. Here, where did I put them? I don't know where I put them. Okay, oh, and I want that. That'll be for something. All right, so let's get our pockets in so that I don't lose. What time is it? 11:40, 10:48. I'm going to make these tucks. So I only put glue on 2 sides. You know, I got a wild idea. Want to try it? All right. Gwen, if I didn't go to the top, or if that's not where I was starting, you know what? I would have just kept on going with it. All right, we're going to try something different on this cover. I'm not going to sew it. I changed my mind. But to me, this is a very, well, I've taken you the long way to get to this point. But again, that's having fun in your craft room. This is the process of trying something, and again, just having this idea in your head and seeing if it works. Yes. Okay. So I sewed the signature in upside down. That's an easy fix. We just sew it. Okay, we lost some wax thread. Do I keep this? No, it's already gone through paper. I do not keep it. And I'm sure somebody will give me an awesome comment. But you know what? My channel. Yep, that's where I'm going. We created a different style of masterboard. Okay, very different style. It's not complete, meaning we didn't cover it completely with paper, pattern paper or coffee dyed paper or whatever it is we wanted to cover it with. We did not do that. All right. So what I'm going to do, yeah, we're going to put metal in it. But you can see, you can keep going now. And these projects, honestly, are the ones that I do enjoy the most because I don't know how they're. I mean, I enjoy all my projects that we do together. Absolutely. But the ones where I'm just winging it, yeah, they're my favorite because you don't know what you're going to get. All right, now I am, believe it or not, I'm going to measure. Just say it. All right, so this is 11 1/4. We're going to shift this over just a little bit. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's my center. I don't have a pencil. It's just like that journal that we did together. I'm not going to see that. I'm just. I'm going to use the centering roller. That would be, awesome to do. All right, so that's coming off 3/8. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so here's my center, and I want to come off of that 3/8 as well. So center. And I'm going to come up 4 1/2. I want these somewhat lined up. We are going to put rivets going across this. Anyway, so those are the projects that, when we use our stash, and I'm playing yoga right now, so my voice is, I apologize. So we're going to center it. We're going center and center. So I think they become the most interesting. I don't know. I think when we try, or when we can get ourselves out of the box and just try something different, something unique, not what everybody else is doing, I think that's where we can continue to grow and really just do different things. Now, before somebody jumps all over me with things that I'm saying and everything else, I am not calling anyone out or anything like that. I watch many creators that now look. Here we go. I'm not picking on any creators or anything else. I think what everyone creates is beautiful. But sometimes just stamping an image and putting it on a card base, to me, paper can do so much more. And that's really where I've honed in. Because again, I put those polls out there, and huge information that I got. It's just that things are changing here. I cannot operate equipment. Okay, please tell me yes. I just look at paper differently. I want to see what we can do. Take our stash, whether that's, stamps that we've had in our stash for decades. And how can we use them? How can we use them differently? That's what this and my membership is all about. I want to teach you and show you that there are other things we can do to make cards. You don't have to break the bank. You could just have card bases, watercolor paper, and watercolors, and you can make beautiful cards. You don't need to have every single stamp, a die cutter machine, and all that fun stuff. And I am really liking this. All right, it's tacked here. All right. And now it's tacked on the side. And it's not that I didn't want to sew in this. I like to look for different ways of creating our borders. So now we have that. And again, it is a tuck spot as well. You can put like long documents in here. You can take this and put that in there. Or you can take, where did I put them? They were just here. There, found them. So we could take these pages that we didn't use. And they can sit right in there. So it's a long document. Now, what am I going to do, or what can I do with this? Well, this can become actually our closure. Let's see. This. Now, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to go in through here. Nope. I want it to come out this way. And I want that to go that way. And we can thread our ribbons any way that we want, but if we want to have the two that are there, nope, nope, nope. We're going to do this. Trying to keep it on the spool, and I'm realizing, yeah, that's not going to work. So, and you're all probably sitting there telling me, no, Dad, you need to do this. You need to, I got it. And at the same time, I want to have enough to do this. So I'm going to figure out this side. And I always cut more than what I need. And now I'll cut my second one. And I always use organza. So here, here, then go over here. And then we're going to come up, move that to the side, and pull through. And now we need to even this out. I need my clip. Even it out. And we can turn this if we want. If you want it flat, I'm going to take this to the other side. And I'm going to tie a bow. Or just tie a knot for right now. And then we'll do that same thing to the other side. So we can go here. This is what I was trying to figure out before. Here. Here. Move that off to the side. That'll come through. Need the clip to keep it flat. And again, they're probably, you know, once in a while they're going to get hooked up. Let's see, which one is that pulling out? There we go. And again, I'm going to straddle this ribbon coming across. And you don't want this too tight because you don't want your cover to bend up. And then this is our closure. So, don't. Okay, that's kind of cool. What do you think? I like that. It's different. Oh, Lisa, I'm glad. I'm glad I'm inspiring, because to me that's what it's all about. Now you can certainly put some things at the end of this, to keep these together and to add something. Matter of fact, let's see, what do we got? Ho ho ho. All right, let's dig into. That one's not glazed. These two are similar. Why not? And they're glazed. So we can take a needle. Epitome of using what you have. Now, this will be the next fun thing. Let's see if Des can thread the needle. Because, Des is blind as a bat. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Let's see if I stretch across. My reindeer. Hello. Oh, I think this one will work. I also think this one could cause a lot of damage. Okay. Doing this on a black background does not work. So I'm going to fold it in half, get the corner in there, pull through. There we go. Let's get the bead on. And again, these are past paper beads that I did. Paper beads are also great here. You don't have to have, a bead on the top or a bead on the bottom. You just got to make sure that, if you're making this and someone buys it, let them know, look, these are paper beads. They have been glazed. They are not waterproof. And these especially, because it's open. We're not sealing up those corners. And then we can just take this, put a knot at the end, close to the end. And that will stay there. And just trim. Boop. And there you go. And then that can be tied. So little charms with the beads. And then we can put charms off of here as well. Whether that's your paper charms or metal charms or anything else like that. So, yeah, a different way. And we didn't have to glue this down. And honestly, now it's a huge tuck spot in all creation. I mean, this is just soft paper that's going on in there. but it's tacked here. It's not going anywhere. And now it's definitely clamped down here. But what it also gave us, because again, realize you can't, I had the whole giant thing, and yeah, you know, if you see that video, that's what I do too. I keep forgetting that there's printing on the other side. Again, this is a tuck. So that can go there. Tags can go in here. Different types of paper can sit in here when it comes to that. And then we took the spare pieces and did this. And then we created the belly band that's now shrunk. Because this tall of a belly band opening, it's just going to fly out. Things are just going to literally fly out of the book. And then we got tucked there. Lots of writing space. I enjoy lots of writing space. Where's that little piece I had? If we had more of these little pieces, we can also make them. And that's probably what I'm going to do, make more, and then we can just, tack them throughout. So I am going to continue with this. And what I might do is continue making some of the pieces, and then maybe next week we'll finish this, because I'm really excited about what this will look like when it's done. How about y'all? I just think that it's, it's different. So again, play. We don't have to go with the norm, and I don't. I do not go with the norm. I've realized that. I've absolutely realized that. But we can sit here and use what we have and create and take different versions of the ideas, of what we have, and put it together. I did cut the black file folder. Yes. So what I did, Anthony, was it took 2 file folders. Yeah, because I only have 2 left. Yeah. So I took 1 file folder and I just tore it in half, right down the fold. And then I folded this one in half, and then I took this edge and lined both of them up to this edge. All right, so that's what I did. I tore it, literally tore it, and then folded it in half, lining it up on the bottom edge of the file folder. Then I took another file folder and just cut it at 4.5. So it was 4.5 inches wide by 11.25 tall. So I cut off a small piece. I cut off this much. No, I don't know where that piece went. So it took 2 file folders. So each side became part of the signature. And then another one I just cut at 4.5. And I'll go 4.5 because I know if I take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and fold it in half, it's 4.25. I always like to leave either a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch from this edge, because something is going to be coming out of the side. There's going to be a poof, or there's going to be lace. there's going to be something that's coming out the side and also coming out the top. That's just how that's just how it's that is with me. Again, we develop what our style is. I have a very grunge, vintage, slap it around feel. Gotta have metal. Loving this metal that's going on here. I have to have something, little poofs coming out the top or coming out the side. I like dark, muted. Do I love rainbows? Yes, I do. I do love rainbows. But if you've looked at past things that I've done with a rainbow, there's a lot of black in it. You know, like the butterflies with the watercolor drips. There's a lot of black to it. I can't just do a rainbow. Bright pattern papers, yes, I can do it, but they're going to be on craft. They're going to have vintage photo with them. And those are just the styles that we develop. And there's nothing wrong with clean and simple. There's nothing wrong. They're just as gorgeous. It's just not what I create and what I lean to. And that's one of the major changes that did happen here, on this channel, as we start being a YouTube creator. I mean, we can talk real, right? All right, here we go. You got me going, guys. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I am going to do something, though, so that you're not just watching my hands go all over the place. Okay. So these are scraps. And these are scraps as well. And I'm going to layer these up to get them a little bit more strength. So as we start, I started my YouTube channel back in August of 2017. And I love every minute of it. And again, when you start that, you choose the item that you like, and I liked paper, so of course that's what it was. Started with cards, and then cards just kind of took off. You're contacted by companies to support them, and I love supporting companies. Absolutely. It's what I'm about here, to support companies. But sometimes I'm also one that I have to be realistic. I am someone that I have a full-time job. And right now, I'm keeping that full-time job. It's not going anywhere. And it's a full-time job. It's not something that is quiet and calm. I'm in construction. And there's a lot that goes on with the project. And I deal with the health and safety aspect and compliance, mainly compliance. So and it's Monday through Friday. Sometimes it's Saturday. Sometimes it's Sunday. You don't know. So sometimes commitments, when you have all of these, when you're part of design teams, there's requirements that you have to meet. And no, I would not be able, it's nothing against them, but I'm just not able to meet those requirements of what they request. And again, that's nothing against them. They have a business as well. And then usually what I'll do is if they've reached down and I, apologize because I can't do that or whatever, I'll go to their site, I'll buy some, and I'll still support them. But I'm able to support them on how I do it. I do a video and I post it. I link to their website. So when you look at all of that and do all of that, it's about time. And then also what comes in are the things that you want to do. You've got to look at that as well when it comes to what you want to do. And sometimes, I heard a couple times after they saw the video, well, that's not what we were looking for. Okay. Then what do you want to do? Because I like to teach. I want to teach, I want to inspire. I am not. If somebody is inspired by something that I'm making and they want to purchase the items that I'm using, that is their choice. But that's not what this is completely about. So I'm making tags here in case anybody wants to do this or know what I'm doing here. But yeah, I've had, a couple people tell me that. And that's fine. All right, then don't contact me again. Because I will not change how I do things. And I have to do things that work with my schedule and what I want to do. And again, that's teach. That's why I created, the membership and everything else. But I also, in the same way here as I am in the membership. And the reason why I created the membership is a couple reasons. You can get into the deep dive of projects. It's tough here in the YouTube world to do the deep dive of projects. And when I mean the deep dive of projects, like the lap book, a journal, a start to finish journal. I find it difficult, cumbersome, and it gets lost. With the membership, I finish them. They're from start to finish. They're live. They're just like this live, and they're recorded that way as I'm doing all of that. Here on this area of YouTube, same type of projects, not as detailed. Why can I not find my toe? I found it. Okay, sorry. I found it. And I also created, and it's why a lot of people do create their YouTube channels, is this costs money. It really, really does. And it's not costing money, at least for me. I can only speak for myself. It's not costing money because I'm buying supplies for the channel. It costs money to have all of the other things when it comes to that. When your computer breaks down, you got to buy another computer. If what you're using to film with breaks down, you got to buy another one. And they do. They do break down. We do have to purchase, the everyday supplies, watercolor paper, cardstock, inks. And I'm not talking about new inks or new cards. I'm talking about just to keep the normal going for card bases and envelopes and watercolor panels and all of that. I think sometimes when creators get the comments that they get, you're kind of putting yourself out there where, okay, if that person had that time to make that comment, this is somebody that has absolutely no clue. However, I am now in the world of, okay, you're going to come at me? All right. Not a problem. And that's all I'll say about that. So, some of the comments have been very interesting. People are very judgmental when it comes to certain things. And look, we all have an opinion. We all have a thought, and that's a great thing. But I think sometimes here, a lot of times people are making these comments for two reasons. One, they want to start something in the comment section, and I won't have it. So if somebody, when I do get those comments or comments like them, I do shut the person down and remove them. This is a safe space. This is a happy space, and it will remain that way. If you want to be mean to someone, then you need to go somewhere else and go find that crew that will entertain that. I will not entertain. So you can see that brush. See what it does? It just puts that coat on there, and there's your difference. Now again, it is distress ink. So, if you get some water on it or something like that, or, maybe you sneeze, you're going to get water droplets. You gotta think about that. And Anthony, you're absolutely right. It is exactly how we met. You reached out, asked a couple questions. I looked at your site, and I spent lots of money. And that was a long time ago. Long time ago. So we're just making tags that go along with what we were doing before. So we can pull in the papers that we used before. And just keep that theme going throughout. Now, usually when I'm making tags like this, I let all the pieces hang off, and then I cut them away. Because again, you'll get that difference of the look. And I have one of these accent pieces. Yeah, I'm thinking. All right, this I'm going to turn into a pocket, actually. No, I want that brighter if I'm going to do that. What is this one? No. No. So again, that's why, you know, we're doing, or at least what I'm doing. Um, there's just been a lot of comments lately that have come across, people making assumptions, and everything else, and it's hitting everywhere. I think it's just a general thing. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's not what I wanted. Okay? Papers have two sides. I'm sitting here talking. There we go. In my archival. I don't think I'm the only channel or creator, you know, that's going through these things. I'm just too old to deal with it or to accept it. So there's the difference. But again, we can create. Again, we went off on the tangent because of the differences that we create. We can create and be different and still have fun because we can learn different ways. We don't have to take a piece of paper and just cut it into whatever it is and stick it on there. We can have fun with it. We can ink it, tear it, rip it, shred it, tangle it, you know, do all of those things that we would want to do. I'm going to turn this into a pocket on this tag. So that's 3 sides. I'm going to put that right there. So then we can also take this paper here and we can cut it. And that could sit there. I'm going to trim that carefully. I'm telling you, everything I'm touching here. I'm going to ink around the sides on that one. So that's why you're seeing the changes that you're seeing here. That's what's going on. And I've gotten a lot of questions, and again, the changes are noticeable. But that is what makes us unique. And alls we used for this, now, yeah, I'm pulling in the metal because I can't help it. You can journal on the back of that. I do like a lot of journaling space in my journals. I'm loving that closure. Just saying. Where'd that belly band go? And then here. So now this will sit in here better. Now, of course, I wouldn't put a small tag like this in that long of a belly band. That would be absolutely horrible. But now it's just a little tighter. And it's just, you want the items, whether they're tucks or pockets, you want these items to be held securely to a point. See, can you tell I like the color black? It is one of my favorite colors. So here comes one of the poofs. And again, I always take twine with an organza ribbon. I don't worry if they're even. I get them close. And I just keep folding it over and over on itself. I pinch then that one side. And yeah, we squeeze it through that hole. Only do this with an eyelet that is set, because they will then slide through there. And then you want to find your center of everything that you folded here. And then once you have that, you grab this big cluster and then you pull and wiggle. Wiggle it just a little. And it's probably going to get me a copyright because I sang that. And then I pull the ends of each of the ribbons and the twine, and you can see it's pulling all of this in. Now, sometimes I'll even go into the loops, and that will pull and tighten everything. So that one just went down. And now that one went down. So that's what you want to do. And you just keep slowly pulling it so that it's all up on top. And then I don't cut the loops. I let the loops just like that. I'll hold it up like this. And if something's like really out there and long, okay, boom. And then that will sit like that. So say something's coming out the side. It's gonna happen. Now, you don't have to have that much. You can angle it like that up until that point. And there you go. And I like that better. So that's coming out. All right. So we had a serious chat. Oh my goodness. Brush that. Let's see here. Questions. Go around. Not saying much. Heidi, how are you? Delia, oh, I'm so sorry. I missed you coming in. Hello. Thank you, Des. I entered your recent poll for journals, and she was what grade would you have for paper? Your encouragement to not give produce a great journal. No, you should never. Absolutely not. And journals are fun. I mean, I believe anything we create has flexibility. Okay, we can, as we're moving along, and again, it's how my brain is. I do not plan, like I've said. I don't. Now when it, like with something with the lap book, and I know I keep saying the lap book, and I apologize. The lap book is being shown in tier 2, the top tier of my membership. When it comes to something like that, the only thing that I am planning, I'm going to keep that, is I plan the design of it, the cover itself. I want the front and back covers, the main ones, to be this size. I want the flip outs to be this size. I want the outer spines to be this width, and I want the center spine to be this width. That's the only thing that I plan out. Everything else that was going to be done in there, I'll have an idea. I'll sit there and say, okay, I want this section to have an envelope down here, an envelope over here. a pocket over here, a page that's going to flip down, a page that's going to flip this way. I'll have that idea. It may come to life. It may not. So I very rarely plan, even for the lives. I mean, it was 15 minutes before we started. I want to do a different type of master board. We'll make it the cover on the file folder. So I started to pull those down. Okay, we'll do that. But I didn't know it was going to be on the inside or anything like that. I knew the master board that I was creating, and I knew that it was with the black file folders. Where I started was clusters. See, and that's something else that we can put on here too. I pulled these out. Buttons. I love buttons. I think buttons will be fun. What do you think? So yeah, buttons can actually, like button. I'll put a button there. And then I can put a button down there. And then I'll look at the back. Oh, we have new things. So I could take this if I wanted to and just tuck that across like that. Just to have one of these back here. But back here is going to be the name of the journal. So I don't need too much back here. So I may just hold on to that for something on the inside. But yeah, those were the things. And again, literally 10 minutes before I went live. And that's what we came up with. I think it's cool. Different style closure. Again, I won't say that I created that. I'm sure somebody else did. I just haven't seen it yet. But I think that's kind of cool. All right. Let's see. So the beads. If you go to my channel, and I think you can, it's better to do it on a computer and do the search, hit paper beads. I know I did, there should be 2 or 3. I know there's 2, possibly 3 paper bead videos. I think one of them I actually went, this is how you do the beads, and then this is how I glue them and then glaze them. I showed everything. I think the recent live, I don't know how long ago it was, I didn't do any gluing, or maybe I did. I don't remember. My brain. But there's a couple of them, Anthony. That brush does cover easy and light. It does. It's different. Using this brush is different than using this brush. So, like if we look here, and I'm going to continue. I think we're going to continue that next weekend. You guys want to do that? Although I may keep doing it during the week. I'm not sure. But I'd like to see where that one's going. It's still going. So if I go across here, and I'm not coming off and then coming on, it's just a smoother surface. If I use one of these and go straight to the paper just like this, and if I do that, look at what you're getting. Now I don't mind that, but it's blotchy-ish. Now, if that's what you want, okay. And then once you get, even when you swirl, it gives you these harsh areas. Not lines, just harsh areas. Where this, it doesn't matter where you go. It just doesn't do that. It just but it's got to be like a makeup poof. a makeup poof brush. Like these. I found these at the dollar store. They're very, I mean, they're not dense. They're very light. These are dense. Very dense. These are not. And again, they're poofs. I'm just, I don't know how else to say it. You all are just laughing at me. I get it. Um, and all that stuff. Yeah, the dollar store is, or under five or five below. Those two stores, you can find some of the best tools to use in your craft room. And again, don't get me wrong, I love all the other tools as well. I was like that when I was a quilter. And yeah, I'm petting these. I should stop. Um, I was like that when I quilted as well. Love tools, love gadgets. Absolutely. But what I do find are basic and simple tools last the longest and give you less frustration. Just saying. They really do. So, you find this wonderful tool and you figure out, oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Why doesn't it work? I want it to work. All right. Tools are very expensive. But again, if you crisscross between, so like the awl to puncture in through your journal, awls are inexpensive. Okay. Could you get an ice pick? You can, but actually the ice picks are more money than a bookmaker's awl. And you can get like a big kit where there's wax thread and all of those things. But you can just purchase an awl for that. But if you, let's say, get a pokey tool, like this one, higher price, same thing, it's got a poke. But yeah, so an awl can do what this can do as well. Makeup brushes, yes. Just look at your makeup brushes. Just make sure. I do like this shape. I do like this depth and focus. And the way that it's just really that thick, that dense. That's the word I was looking for when it comes to ink blending. And I do like this style. So again, and yes, you can find this shape in um in Amazon. I do like them though to have a case. I'd like them to have a case that comes over it. I don't like the cases that are for these that I use when it comes to my oxides. I'd like to have a slip-on case. And I haven't been able to find them yet. All right. So I think we're going to continue with this, or at least I'm going to show you the cases they just don't, they're all getting all inked over. They're all getting contaminated with each of the colors. And I don't mind. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I'm not going to, so when I say I don't mind, I'm not going to repurchase another set unless I have to. Like the fibers go, or when I wash them, they just fall apart or whatever. And then at that time, I'll say, okay, I'll replace this one and get a cap for it. And again, I love We Are Tools, Anthony. I agree, but there's some of them, like that tool that I use to put the eyelet in. Nope, I am not a fan of it. No, the it's the handle especially, on the base, they slip, they come off. and I just recently got it, so it shouldn't be doing that. I do have the big bite, but you gotta play yoga. Yoga will do all that. So, but yeah, no. I hope you all enjoyed this. And we did. I did go on to a rant, so I'll apologize. Sorry. But now we know that's where um the changes are coming from, and why I have the community and what goes on in the communities and all of that. But again, I'm grateful for you guys being here, for watching the videos that come out during the week. And there is going to be one of the videos that I had in the Podia group in the free level that's going to come out this week. I haven't chosen which one yet, but there is one that's going to be released this week. So you'll be able to see that every day. Now, again, they're coming out in different times because we can't schedule a video in the membership teams. Jesus. Yeah, I can schedule here out in the open, the subscribers here. I can schedule a video to post, but I can't do it in the members area. I don't know why, but I can't. So they are coming out every day. There just might be at different times, because when they come out really late, that's when you know, okay, she forgot. And now I do not need any reminders anymore. I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to throw it out the window from work, because my goodness, they're just having all kinds of fun with me. So that's going to continue. I am for the second tier. I am going to be coming out with the video with the watercolor backgrounds for the wellness. And remember, that's that background or this one. I still haven't decided yet. I haven't figured it out. I think I'm going to do that one. I do like the bright. So see, I do like bright. It's just, grungy looking. That is going to just have multiple tangles as once when I film it. All right. Or I may actually schedule a live and do that with you guys there. And what we're doing there. I haven't figured that out yet, but I will by the end of today, and a post will come out. We are starting the lap book as well. And I know, Holly, you're like, okay, she kept on saying lap book. That's this here. This is the only thing that I planned for the lap book. And when it comes to what this will look like, I have no idea how the closure is going to go on this one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I have to think about it, because I know it needs to have something over here when it comes to that closure. So yeah, this is an hysterical video with how it came through and what I did. So even when you plan, things can go awfully wrong. And then for our first tier, I'm going to choose a stamp from my stash. And we are going to I'm going to show you different techniques with that one stamp. So how you can get life out of a stamp when it comes to changing it, the different techniques, so that you can get more items from it. And the reason why I like those is because for us to purchase the stamp, 9 out of 10, we saw somebody create with it. And that sparked us. At least it did for me. That's how I did it. And then after we do it, or after we get it, and again, this is me, we're like, now what do I want to do? It's a vicious circle for me, or it was. I don't do that anymore. But at least I know we have a stash, and focusing in on the stamps to say, okay, you can do this with the stamps. And it's not just always going to be a floral. Florals are easier to do that with, because you can do different techniques with them. They make it easier to do that. Um, but it can be anything. It could be something holiday. It could be something this or that, to do them. And then also probably in the next week or two here, there's going to be a simplicity video, but we're going to put a twist on it, when it comes to our pattern paper. Yes, didn't know we could do that. Yes, we can. We absolutely can. We're going to take another craft and meld it into it. All right, so that is what is coming up. Let's see. Making sure I don't miss any questions. Stopped crafting, cooking dinner. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I think you're 5 hours ahead. Haven't managed to chat. Oh, that's okay, Lisa. That's okay. Exactly, Heidi. It's that was my cycle, so that's why I stopped. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really do enjoy our Sundays. I get to work on something different. This helps clear my brain from everything that's going on from the week and getting ready for the new week coming up. So thankful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Truly, truly grateful for all of you being here. And then for everything else as well. So I am honored that you've allowed me to be part of your creative journey. I think that is absolutely honorable, and I'm very grateful. So, guys, continue. Have a great week this week. I know we're going into a heat wave. Yes. And of course, with a heat wave, that means then thunderstorms. Yes. So that'll be a fun week for me. Yes. But continue to stay safe and healthy no matter where you are, by all means. If you have any questions, you guys know how to get a hold of me. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And for those of you that haven't done it, we do have the poll. Just look at my post there. Choose what you're looking for. Card making, of course, is hitting the bar, going straight across, but journals are in there as well. So I'm just looking at that and looking at that information very carefully. All right, guys, take care. I love you all. Until next Sunday, I will be live. Bye.